Okay, so we've got our ER diagram, we've got our student, our book. So the student borrows the book, and these will become our three tables in Access. So first thing we want to do, we want to open up Access. We want a blank desktop database. You can call it whatever you like. Because this is a book borrowing database, I might just call it a library database. Okay, this is our first table here. We can change the name. Can't do that while it's open, so we close it. We'll call that one student. There we go. Student. Okay. Rename field, we'll call that student ID. Okay. Now at this point, I'm actually just going to change this to the design view, because it'll make it a little bit easier to change the data types and input new field names to here. And we're putting in all these bubbles. All these bubbles we need to put into the table in Access. So we've got the student table now. We've got the student ID. And it's already done that automatically. You can see here with that little key, that means it's the primary key. We don't want it to auto number. Auto number is when it will literally go 1, 2, 3, and so on. We want to probably go with short text. Okay. We could probably even break this down into first name and last name. Short text again. Suburb and postcode. Now postcode, you can put it in as a number, but we don't actually want to do any calculations based on a postcode. We don't want to find the average postcode or anything like that. And so it can actually make a lot of sense if you were to leave it as short text as well. And that's the student table done. So now we'll go on and we'll do the same for the book table, and then we'll do the borrowed table last. Create table. There's book. Go back to the design view, it's a bit easier to change it. Type that you use is short text. And that's it for the book table. Okay, so let's now add the borrowed table. Back into the design view. And now we're going to add the foreign keys. But at this point, we don't actually do anything special. We just add them in as new fields. Put the student ID in, and we put the book ID in as well. Then put in that date borrowed. So we've got at least one field that's not short text, which is exciting. Okay, so now we need to create the relationships between the tables. So we add our three tables in. Weren't showing much, and basically what I needed to do is I needed to save all of the tables so they only had ID there in book and ID in borrow. And so to get all this other information to appear, I just clicked on each table and Control S saved it, or you could always right click and save as well. And then all this information appeared. Okay, so book ID is related to book ID. You literally just click, go to the top. So table book, book ID, table borrow, book ID, create the relationship there. Student ID to student ID. You can see table student ID is related to borrow student ID. And that then creates the link. Okay, so this is the real power of databases, and this is how it prevents you putting the redundant data to the database. Okay, so it's basically the structure of the database. Now we can put some data in. You can put student ID, first name, last name. Just fill it out like that. Okay, so it's one student's in there. Put a book in there. We'll make it that Game of Thrones book. So GOT 0001. Title is Game of Thrones. Author is George Martin. Genre is fantasy. Okay. You can create multiple entries this way. When you're done, you just click on the next line. You can start filling out the next one if you want to. Okay, so in borrow, let's say that we just, keep the same standard going. So 3 letters followed by the numbers. This is the very first borrow entry. So the student PL0001 has borrowed book GOT 0001. The date borrowed, the 1st of the 7th, 2018. That's it. So we've got a sample entry in there.